Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the property decorator in Python. It is a really, really handy way to try to make things a little bit cleaner in a more Python-looking finger quotes than having a million setters and getters and accessors and mutators and oh my goders all over the place. So what we're going to do is we're going to create ourselves a class. I'm going to call it box. Not a very exciting name for box. And I'm going to go ahead and set up my init just like we did before. We'll do our init. Whoa! Helps if you type in the correct term the first time. There we go. I know it was being goofy on me. In it. There we go. So we're going to keep it nice and simple. We're going to have a name of a box. We're going to have a volume of a box. And we're going to have a mass of the box in, we'll do kilograms here just to make it kind of simple. So I'll do all my usual stuff. Again, I'm not going to get too crazy with hiding any of the values here. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. And we're going to go say volume. And I'm going to go self.mass kg. kg equals, let's see here. This would be, of course, mass kg. Keep it nice and simple. Now, one of the things I want to do is let's make a box, brown box. I'll keep it nice and easy. We'll call this box brown box. I'll keep it easy today. Volume, we'll say the volume is 5, and we'll say the mass in kilograms is 10. Why not? Now, let's say I want to build myself a function that will actually, a method that can actually go in here and tell me the mass in pounds instead of kilograms. So, of course, we can do that. That's really easy to do. I could come up here and I could do something like, let's see here. I'll call this one mass LBS. So we just got to send self. And we simply would do return, to keep this nice and simple here. This would be self.masskg times 2.2. That's close enough decimal-wise. That works. But look at where this gets tricky. So let's say I want to print brown box dot mass kg. So now if I were to run this one real quickly here, you would see it'll give me 10. Cool. Let's say I want to now print brown box dot mass lbs. Ooh, what's that? Double parentheses. Oh man, I wish it just had a property for mouse pounds. This would be so much easier if I could just get rid of these somehow. And the answer is you can, and that's using the app property decorator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak up here where I have my lovely little method here for basically get pounds, and I'm going to put at property in front of it. And what this does is this is now telling Python that this method's return value, which is this, is going to be treated as if it is a property of my actual class instance. So watch this. Print brown box, you're going to love this, dot mass pounds. It works. So as you can see here, we've actually taken that value, done a calculation, but we've concealed it, pretending that it is just one of the regular properties that you have built into Python. And you can see just how incredibly useful that is for doing some quick calculations. Now, the neat thing here is we're also calculating mass in pounds every single time we call this. Now, the downside to that, as you can probably imagine, is if you do something like that, that's going to be an expensive calculation. So one of the things you can actually do is if you only need to do this once, this is okay. But it actually would have been even safer for us to actually build this again, but make it so that when it calculates mass in pounds, you just did something like this. And again, this is an example. You could have just done that right at the beginning. And again, this is a little bit better from a calculation perspective, but obviously if you don't need that value normally and you just need it that one time, it might be better to just run that calculation versus kind of using it that way. And you can see, of course, Python had a heart attack when I tried to pull that because it's like, oh, what are you doing? You can't do that. Now, the interesting thing you'll probably note here, too, is that we've simplified things quite a bit. And you can actually come down here and go pretty hard on this. For example, I could do at property again. I could do something like def. Let's see here, box talk. I'm going to just call it box talk. Why not? And you could do something like this, which is a little goofy, but it gives you an idea of just what you could do to this. Self.name, self.mass kilograms, self.mass pounds. Yeah, you can call yourself from yourself. Isn't that awesome? So now the cool thing here is if I did print brown box dot box talk. Notice there's no fancy parentheses here. Now, if I ran this, you'll actually see here that it'll run us through and do all those different components for us. Oh, actually, you know what I didn't do? I didn't return a value. That was silly on my part. You'll notice how it said this big none here, and you'll notice I did this lovely print, but you'll also see the none. The reason it returned none is because properties are expected to have a return value. Since we didn't give it a return value, it did its printing fine, but then it threw none at us. So as a matter of fact, if I wanted to be smarter, I could have just done brown box.boxtalk like that. Now, if I were to run that code, you will see it's not going to try to spit that none out there because we're not returning any values here, but it still has that capability. Now, some people are like, this is wonderful. I don't have to put things in parentheses anymore. But those parentheses do serve a purpose, and they're just kind of reminding us that what you're doing when you're doing calculations. Once you start hiding those using our property decorator here, it can be harder to really know what is going on inside of a class. Enjoy.